Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to the John Keim Report wherever you get your podcasts. You're watching on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can find us there as part of Empire Media. That's AMPIRE. Always much appreciated when you tune in. And don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com. I have a story up now about the excitement from the day, I guess, because the win was kind of, you know what it was, but the day was a little bit different. So the story was all about kind of the day and the win, et cetera, but that's up on ESPN.com. Now I'll have a story up on Sam Howell's day as well. And I'm talking to you Monday night, so I believe that's going to be up Tuesday. Anyway, some of that I'm going to cover here, but you can read it on ESPN.com, I hope, on Tuesday. So there you go. And today, all I'm doing is, well, actually, another reminder. Later tonight, because you'll hear this Tuesday morning, later tonight, I'll be doing another live YouTube live stream show. I think I got that right. A live YouTube streaming show. I'm botching that somehow. Anyways, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time with Bram Weinstein, the voice of the Commanders. Typically, we're going to go a little bit earlier on Tuesday nights, but this time we're pushing it to 8:30. So tune in, bring your questions. But I wanted to do a little video based off some of the stuff I've watched and learned over the last day since the Commanders' 20-16 win over the Cardinals. I'm going to try and do this every week so you can get something Tuesday morning. So that way you go from Sunday night after the game. You don't have to wait 2 full days to Tuesday night to find out a little bit more about what went on. And I like, as you know, I like to rewatch the games. I learn a lot by doing that. I watch these plays a lot, and because I try to learn more. And when I'm watching a play, folks, I'm watching it usually about 8-9 times or so, just to get a good feel for what's going on, because usually not every play am I watching that much anymore, but the plays I need to know, I'm going to watch that much, and I watch every play again. Anyway, so there you go. So today I'm going to focus on Sam Howell, starting with the sacks, because I think that's important, because the perception is, oh my God, they gave up 6 sacks. The offensive line sucks. Well, after watching it, the line is not to blame for all these sacks. So I'm going to go through each one and just kind of let you know what happened, because I don't like lazy narratives that form. Now, I'm not saying the line was awesome. There are some things they have to clean up, I will say, and they're going to face better fronts. That's part of the problem here. We all know that. But I think there are some things you say, okay, this is correctable. This is correctable. Now, you have to correct it. You have to improve and build off that, because if you don't, you're going to face better fronts. They're going to eat you up, and you're going to face teams that are going to challenge you a little bit more. The Cardinals did do it. They rushed 4 a lot of times, but there were a lot of times where you weren't sure which 4 were coming. They throw some overloads. And one play I'm going to talk about later with how they throw some overloads that would put the line in a little bit of a stress because of that. So some well-designed defensive rushes by John Gannon and company for the Cardinals, but they are going to face better fronts. And so they are going to have to clean some things up without a doubt, but it's not just on the line. That's why I always say, when you talk about pass protection, it's way more than just line. You can have your own opinion on it, but I'm just telling you based on watching it. I'm going to go through these sacks to see what went wrong on each of them. So let's start with the first one. First of all, the play action fake, I don't buy it. Not great. I think the fakes can be a little bit better. Howell kind of eyes Terry McLaurin most of the way. Inside linebacker blitzes, defensive end drops, and then Nick Gates loses inside. It was about 3.23 seconds, which 2.5 is what you would consider a win or a loss for your block. So in those pass rates, so Gates could have done a better job inside there, but there were some other issues on the play. So there you go. That's one. The second one was an RPO was designed as it's an RPO. So you have 17, McLaurin with the bubble to the right side with Jahan Dotson as the blocker. Brian Robinson in the backfield. I actually really like this play if he had handed off, but I'll get into that in a minute. But on this play, the reason why it's a sack is because he sees an outside linebacker start to hedge back to dropping, and it causes him to hesitate. So he pulls the ball back down, and then he runs and takes off. 0 yards, considered a sack, not on the line. It's on. There are a couple of reasons why it happened, but if you're going to throw the ball, you got to throw the ball now. So boom, you get the fake, boom, you go. That's what they want him to do. So he just kind of I think he got hesitated by how the outside linebacker reacted. Experience cleans that up. So, and I know he ran the RPO in college, sort of doing it at a different speed in the NFL. Experience matters there. 3rd down and 10, the 3rd sack. Cardinals show 6, they rush 4. This is one where Logan Thomas loses on the edge. Again, you're not blaming the line here. So, and I'm not saying the line was flawless. I'm just saying like they weren't responsible for everything. They had some issues. It wasn't just their fault. And this one, you have Logan Thomas blocking one-on-one, and two deep routes were run, couldn't hold up, and he loses his guy in just around 2.5 seconds. So I said, that's the line there. Loses, I think, just under that. So needed to hold up a little bit better than he did. 4th sack. This was the disaster play. And this is one where Andrew Wiley, I saw some people kind of ripping on him. It's the only play where I saw where he did a really bad job on a pass set. Spin move to the inside, just get beat. A really nice spin move. Wiley gets beat. There you go. No excuses for the guy. But it's the one play where he really, on the pass protection, where I saw like, okay, that was an issue for Wiley, but it was a sack fumble. In that case, Howell has to do a better job also of not compounding the mistakes, but then taking care of the ball. And I think he got surprised that the guy was there, that the guy got to him, but he did. It's a fast game. But again, Wiley lost on the spin move there. 5th sack. This was again on the line, and this is on Nick Gates because everybody else handled the job well. You see, it's a slide. It's supposed to be a slide protection to the left, and Sadiq Charles blocks a guy. Gates has to come over and pick him up, and then Charles goes to help. Charles Leno handles it right. Gates doesn't come over. Why? I don't know. He didn't know why. He just told me after the game that he botched it. You see this line handle the same protection very well to the other side a couple of times. Like there were a couple of times they slid to the right, and you saw Sam Cosmi engage his man. Gates comes over, picks him up. Cosmi goes and helps out Wiley on the play as it's designed to happen. Didn't happen here. Again, it should be easily correctable, but you have to learn, why does that happen? I don't know, because this is a conversation I'd like to have with some of these guys. And this is what you do sometimes on a Thursday or Friday, just kind of like, hey, not trying to rip on anybody here, but can you explain what happens on that 4 guys do the right thing and one guy who is a center, who's in charge, who helps with the line calls, doesn't do the right thing. It's something, so that's a confusing one, but it's correctable. It wasn't a physical mistake. The last one, Charles gets beat on that. So, okay, line, right? But Brian Robinson, when he's running through the hole, Charles gets pushed back a little bit. Robinson then trips over Charles's right foot. And I don't know if that's what caused him to stumble back or get pushed back or lose his balance, but that's what happened. So whether or not it's because of the trip or not, Charles gives up the sack, and there you go. So for the most part, I think the line did in pass protection. There were some decent things that you saw. And I think one guy to me that stood out was Sam Cosmi. And I thought he did a pretty solid job all game with that. And I haven't gone back yet to look at all the runs. I really focused hard on the passing by Howell, and as well as the sacks. There was one time on the 17-yard pass play to Cole Turner. You go back and watch that. The Cardinals, again, they did a good job of overloading the left side. So yeah, they had a couple guys, they had like 2 guys drop from that side, replaced by 2 guys. Suddenly you get a 3-on-2 to that side. So you get a free rusher. Cosmi, who's on the other side, sees what's going on, he playing with awareness, very good job by him, comes over and basically cuts the guy enough to bump him off stride. Howell steps to the right, hits Turner with the play. But that's a credit to Cosmi. I thought that he did a nice job in protection. Again, outside of the one play by Wiley, he held up in protection as well. So the sacks were a mixed bag. Line has to be better. I get that. I'm not saying that. But it was a mixed bag, and that's where some of the stuff on Howell, some of it's on Howell. There are a couple of times where you got to get through your progressions a little bit quicker. And then Logan Thomas has to hold up in protection. His blocking was an issue last year, and they hope that some of that was due to coming back from the knee injury. They felt like he had more confidence as a route runner by the end than as a blocker. He's got to hold up better. So anyway, I don't know that I'm not trying to give you guys false hope about the line. I'm just trying to give you, this is what happened on their 6 sacks. Never just one or the other. It's always going to be usually usually a combination of factors. And in this case, that was the case. But again, the line was definitely to blame for a few of those, just not all. And so now you know. And so, whether or not you want to believe it, that's on you. That's up to you. I'm just telling you what I saw based on going back and watching it again. And then you're talking to a few people about their thoughts. But I try to do this based on not what my initial thought was, but what is it that I saw on rewatching the game and doing it a few times. And then again, trying to talk to a few people who I consider experts just to see am I seeing it right or what? And, so there you go.
NFL Sunday Ticket is now on YouTube and YouTube TV, which means that you can stay close to your team even if you don't live in their town. Like maybe you're a Raven who married a Seahawk who got a job in the land of the Falcons. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you can watch your team's out-of-market Sunday afternoon games no matter where you live, because you shouldn't have to change teams even if you change towns. NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. Go to youtube.com/presale to get $50 off.
Terms and embargoes apply. Offer ends 9/19. No refund. Subscription auto renews.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code KEIM, K-E-I-M, to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code KEIM. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Let's talk about Howell's day too, because again, kind of a mixed bag. And it's funny because I looked at his total QBR for the day and it was right in the middle of the NFL. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of appropriate because that's about how his day was. And even Ron Rivera told us at his press conference today that there were times you're like, hey, really good rhythm there, really good throw, whatever. There are other times you're like, what are you doing? And that sums up his day. I think the good thing for Howell is a lot of the things that I wouldn't say struggled with, but had some issues with are all things that are just, to me, in a lot of cases are corrected by experience. And I also think, I know that even on my post-game podcast and even during the game, I thought, I'd like to see a little bit more Brian Robinson in that first half. They were very heavy pass to run. And I'd like to see a little bit more Brian Robinson. I don't know that they're ever going to become this power running team. Remember, he's been with Andy Reid for a long time. That's not Andy Reid's style. So he's bringing that style to Washington. Do they have the personnel to play the way that he wants? I think you can debate that. And so, if you want to play that way, you're going to have to do a little bit more on the quick game to get some things going in the open field. And there were also a couple of times, like even on some throws in the quick game to like Curtis Samuel, where a ball has to be delivered just a little bit better to give him the chance to turn and run and turn into more yards versus having to turn around, kind of turn back, resettle your feet, and then try to go. A little bit hard to make it miss when you have to regain your momentum. Anyway, so I don't know if they're going to ever become that kind of a running team that you'd want. I do think they can do it better, and I do think they can do it more. And I do like the guy they have in Brian Robinson and, as a runner. So can you incorporate him a little bit more early in the games? I think the answer is yes. Anyway, so let's get back to Howell's day. and one thing that Rivera said too during the presser, you have to have patience with him. And this is something that a lot of us have talked about, that it's only a second start. It does not happen. Like Howell, I think, can be a good quarterback. And I've been saying this, but I don't know when, because it takes time, and you have a new offense, and you do have a line that, however good they're going to be, they're not there yet because they just started playing together. You can't be the kind of unit you want to be. And you can't be a good unit yet because they don't have that individual talent to be that way. So you have to play collectively very well. And it does take time. So can they get there? And that's going to be the big question. And again, with the line, I have not gone back and looked at the run game enough to say, I'm just talking about in protection. It wasn't, just to be clear, it wasn't just all on them. Anyway, but with Howell, the good thing is I think a lot of those mistakes are correctable through experience. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. There were, a couple times with the RPOs. And I'm going to bring up the one to McLaurin that I brought up with the sack. So in that one where he can help himself, first of all, don't hesitate. And just what they want him to do is, you make the decision, get rid of the ball, right? Because McLaurin probably gains about 3-4 yards on that play, which is better than none, which is what Howell gained by keeping the ball. It wasn't in danger of being picked or anything like that. If you're going to hesitate, then tuck it and run. That's fine. But the purpose of those is to get 4 or 5 yards of play. It's the extended handoff, right? Well, on that one, I think that's what they'd like him to do is if you're going to do it, just do it, get a few yards, get to the next play. But the real play on that one was handing it off because the RPO worked really well on that because the outside linebacker does start dropping into the lane. He's not anywhere in danger of getting the ball, but he's in danger of being able to put himself in position to make a quicker stop on McLaurin if he gets the ball. But the inside linebackers were sitting back and they got some double teams up front. They had a chance to get, 5 or 6 yards on the run, but it's one where say, okay, that's one where you should have run the ball. But if you're going to throw, do it now. Oh, the other one that I would like to have seen him, and I know that he's got to regret this one. They had a well-designed play to De'Ami Brown, runs a jet action into a wheel and just down the side. And it looks like Howell sees him, and for some reason he hesitates and he comes off him. He still hits Jahan Dotson for 12 yards. But man, that's his boy from Carolina. That could have been 6. If you put it out there right, it is 6 because they're not going to catch De'Ami. That's one where it's like I was really surprised knowing Sam, following Sam, watching him in practice, watching his stuff from Carolina. That's a play that he's going to make. I guarantee he's sitting there thinking, why didn't I throw the ball? And I will ask him that on Wednesday. But it's one where, again, that's just, he's going to make that throw. Like you present him that situation again, I really, really doubt that he's going to hesitate at all again because it was there and it was a well-designed play. And I've seen that guy hit it. He likes to throw it on the field. It's just, to me, that one. All right. So, and the touchdown, really like this one. And go watch it. We're putting a picture up from that one. You can see he is surrounded by 5. I think it's like 5 Cardinal players there. He extends the play. Now, he doesn't just for whatever, he doesn't leave he's in the pocket for almost 3 seconds. That's good protection there. He extends the play by going out to the left, scrambling left. He extends it to 6 seconds before he throws. But a really good job. Now he knows that he doesn't have anything there when he's running. His strength is not running and turning the corner. His strength, I think I told you after the game, his strength to me is running between the tackles, using a little bit of elusiveness and his toughness to then break. He can maybe sometimes get the corner, but that's not going to be what he does. He's not a big time burner, but he's got enough elusiveness and toughness and competitiveness to hurt you inside. But on this one, he does a great job of keeping his eyes upfield. Then that throw back, it's like he's got a baseball background, folks. He could have played in college. So that's one, to me, it's like if you're, shortstop getting to the hole and you got to throw back across the diamond or you're flipping it to second, whatever, that's that kind of an arm slot. And he does it and he just threads the needle between some of these defenders. And I put that one up here. My son, Matthew, put that one up here for you as well to see just a picture of that, to see what it looked like, but a really good job on that play. On the interception, the only thing, it's a tip ball. So, the only thing I wondered about when I'm watching it live is, was Dotson open? And watching the all 22, I think if there's no tip and he can get Dotson to the inside, he's got a shot at a probably 15, 20 yard completion. But the ball gets tipped and then it's danger. And that's all she wrote. So yeah, I think, I don't think it would have been in danger of being intercepted by someone else coming to Dotson because the defender breaks on it toward Dotson, but he gets there because the ball gets tipped. And I mean, it makes it look like he got there quicker. I think the ball may have gotten to Dotson there. And I brought up the pass to Turner, but I also wanted to talk about with Howell on that play. Cosby does a great job and he makes that play. He gives Howell the ability to make that play, but Howell does a good job of he felt it. He took 2 steps to his right, eyes always upfield. He doesn't look at the rush. And I think that's a really good thing. And he delivers a nice ball to Turner. Turner uses that wide catch radius to make the grab, but a good job by Cosby, good job by Howell, a nice catch by Turner. And so a good completion overall. And so I think that was a nice job there. Problem on that drive is that it ended in a fumble, but I told you, like, what I really like with Howell is just the way he responds to these negative situations. Against Dallas, he throws the interception, leads a drive that ends in a missed field goal, now 52 yards, but he doesn't get rattled. And then you have Sunday, after the interception, comes back, leads another drive, Gibson fumbles. After the sack fumble, leads a really good field goal drive. The point is, each time he put them in position to get points, and through not his mistakes, they didn't get points on 2 of them, but he put them in position to do it. So I really liked on the sack fumble drive, the first play is a 3-step drop, good rhythm, balls out to Jahan Dotson, 14 yards. 2 plays later, disaster. But on the next drive, 5 plant, step, throw to Logan Thomas, 19 yards, just good rhythm. And that's what you like to see. Also on that drive, 5-step plant, throw to Curtis Samuel, well-timed, good rhythm, 32 yards, really nice job. And there was another one though that I wondered a little bit about, where he's got Dotson on the left side. He wants to go to him. And if you get to him right away, as soon as he turns, he may have a chance to get 4 or 5 more yards after the catch. But he looks at him, and for some reason, he takes a quick glance to his right, just a quick glance, then works back to the left to Dotson. If you're watching, you see my little action there. Like, that's quickness right there, baby. But he works quickly back to Dotson, gets it to him, only gets like 5 yards, could have gotten another 4 or 5. He just stay with him and hits him right now, because I think that was the right call there. I'm not quite sure what he caused him to look a little bit, glance to the right. But again, these are like, that's not a physical thing. That's a experience thing. That's a getting used to doing this at game speed against more and more and more defenses. And the more reps he sees, I think the better he'll get at that. That's why I'm certainly not discouraged in Howell at all after that game. Maybe some of you are. I'm not, because I still think that the traits that he shows are still conducive to having some level of success. It's just, I don't know yet to what level or to when he's going to get there, but he's got to go through these kind of situations. And they're fortunate that they won the game. I don't think the overall game that they played is not going to be good enough against better teams. So, and that means taking better care of the ball. You're going to have to clean up some of those protection issues. And again, protection, not just line, overall protection, because you're going to face better fronts than what you did. And you're going to probably face some teams you may want to run the ball a little bit more on, and so there you go. But last one I'm going to talk about is the touchdown on the run. Just a good decision to, he may have had a shot at Logan Thomas, who would have caught the ball around the 1. There were a couple guys about maybe 2, a yard deep in the end zone. The only question I would have is, would he have broken the plane on that? They're going to certainly attack him. If you lead him right, he can lead him into the end zone. I don't know for sure that he would have made it, but it was a really nice job by Howell. Goes to the left side. The other thing that you notice in the play, Jahan Dotson's running crosser, and I think Dotson thinks he's going to try and cut to the outside. So he starts to wall off the guy covering him. But by doing that, he doesn't hook him, but he obstructs him enough that the defender cannot then react to Howell cutting back to the inside. So a nice assist there from Jahan Dotson, but a good run from Howell. Like I said, he's a competitive guy. Those are his kind of situations. In some ways, his game reminded me a little bit of a Taylor Heineke effort where, some things that did not look great, but you overcome it. It's just that he has a better arm than Heineke, but I like the competitiveness that he plays with. He's going to have to get better. I don't think that this is going to be a winning effort against every week by any means, but there are things that I think he can build on. Some of those rhythm throws you can build on. I think those RPO decisions you can correct, and like, hey, if you get this, you've just got to go. So watch how he does that the next time. He's a guy that tends to not make the same mistakes twice. And I go back to his footwork sometimes in those RPOs. There was an issue in the first preseason game. He corrected it by the time they got to Baltimore in those practices and then in the game. So that's a thing to watch. How does he handle some of these situations a little bit better? And again, the Diame one, man, oh man, was that there. And so, what does he do? I think this is the game where you learn and you move on and you say it's a win and you move and you there's nothing like learning some lessons in a win, but everything's got to be better, not just with him, but the entire offense. And you can look at the play calling too, like how you involve certain guys and when. That's all part of it. It's all new. And so there you go. That's my review of the sacks of Sam Howell's game. So join me Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern time with the voice of the Commanders, Graham Weinstein. Bring your questions. And then I'll also have another podcast Thursday talking about the Broncos. And then on Friday with a keys and prediction to the game. So talk to you next time.